Opening slide, graphic, text, title, Vision Part 13, The Power of Positive Examples with Dr. Michael Kendrick. Logos, Belonging Matters, Australian Government Department of Social Services, talksthatmatter.net.
And you really can't go too far wrong by saying, well, let's start with the things that a lot of people have done with their life and their vision that's turned out to be very helpful. In other words, we can build vision by seeing where vision is linked to some good outcome, whatever it was. So as you study these examples, you begin to realize that there's a link between the positive presumption that something can be done and the positive examples and the ability of people then to replicate that or imitate it. So in this sense, if you get people paying attention to positive examples, learning from them, then eventually, they get a lot of the benefit that have come from this kind of pioneering that somebody else might have done. And so it's very important to build vision by really expanding people's sense of what's positive and possible and ultimately realistic. And without that, they're kind of stumped because they can't form a picture yet of what might be a way forward. So making an investment in yourself and other people to build their own vision of what might be possible and positive is a really good investment. And one thing that's often very helpful, constantly helpful, is good examples. Good examples do a lot of the work of persuading people. Real life good examples. And of course, many families kind of get stumped for a while with their family member and their positive potentials. Then they come across a family that did something that never occurred to them, and that inspires them. They say, oh, well, why didn't we think of that? Well, let's do something like that. Maybe that would work with our son or daughter. So as you, kind of look for some of these ways forward, you eventually find them. And you can, may not be identical to what others did, but it will give you a sense of how we might move forward. For instance, I know all kinds of people with disabilities that used to be living with their parents who are now living on their own. And many parents are fearful of that because they feel, well, would they be safe? They'd have 1,000 questions. Could they be competent enough to live on their own or in company of a few other people or something? And all of those questions can be answered. And you can get a good start by talking to families that have a son or daughter that used to live at home, who's now living separate from the family, and get some of the detail about how they made that happen. And it all begins to become more real because somebody else has done it. Now, what's also real is it might not suit your son or daughter to do what a particular person has done to live on their own, but there still might be many things you could learn from that particular example. So it's not like you're utterly replicating what others have done. You're replicating things that seem like a good fit for the person you have in mind. And part of that too may be involving the person themselves in building their own vision for what life away from the family home might look like. And again, the person with disabilities might need to see those examples as well, because they may be completely in the deep end about how could I, live separately from my parents. But some of these concrete examples start to make it more real. So this vision business, or creating a vision, can be quite ongoing, and it's almost in many cases just ask, well, what next? What are we going to do next here? What would make life better next? So it's not something you will run out of. There's always something called next that we haven't done, but you sort of have to test whatever the next thing is, and begin to fill out the picture of what kind of vision do we need to have of what's next.
Graphic, text. Like to learn more from Dr. Michael Kendrick about vision? What should we place importance on? creating and renewing a vision, uncovering a person's vision, encouraging and involving others, being sensibly unrealistic, safeguarding a vision, and more. Visit talksthatmatter.net. Premium video. Subscribe for as little as $10. Belonging Matters is a not-for-profit organisation. All proceeds support the inclusion of people with a disability. Logos, Belonging Matters, Talks That Matter. Closing slide, graphic text. This video is made possible with the support of an information and capacity building grant through the Department of Social Services, produced by Belonging Matters. Belonging Matters makes every effort to provide accurate and up-to-date material. However, information is subject to change and our material is for reference only. Logos, Australian Government Department of Social Services, Belonging Matters, talksthatmatter.net.